to announce a mega fight for British boxing. Of course, the fight that you've been waiting for, Nottingham against Leeds in Sheffield for world glory. Leigh Wood defending his WBA featherweight championship against fellow two-time world champion Josh Warrington. And firstly, thank you all so much for attending tonight. I know we only announced this last night, but a round of applause for the teams. Of course, as I said, the two-time world champion Josh Warrington, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, another tremendous British fighter and also a two-time world champion from Nottingham, Leigh Wood. Both of these guys have a tremendous story, and I think with everything that we see at the moment in the world that we live in, and sometimes in boxing as well, or outside of boxing, it's great to see two role models that have performed and produced through defeat, through adversity, but also young fighters and young people can look at and inspire them to never give up, take their opportunities. When we look to the left of me, it was just under 10 years ago that Josh Warrington had his standout chance. It was in Hull Arena against Samir Mamoon for the Commonwealth featherweight title. Probably brought 300 or 400 fans up from Leeds. I looked at him, I thought, I like this kid. I had no idea he would go on and become a world champion. I thought he was an exciting fighter with good prospects and a great, passionate fan base. Just over 3 months later than that, Leigh Wood suffered defeat for the British Super Bantamweight title, getting stopped by Gavin McDonald. And it looked like his career might be over. They both took very different paths. Josh Warrington became the #1 featherweight in the world, built a huge fan base in Leeds, continuously sold out the First Direct Arena, won the world title at Ellen Road in front of 30,000 people when he beat Lee Selby. And Josh went on, as I said, to maintain that position as #1 featherweight in the world. Over on this side, Leigh Wood, after that defeat, struggled. He struggled for opportunity, he struggled to get a deal, he struggled to get a title chance, and for 5 years really trod water looking for that opportunity. That opportunity came. Next thing, he's fighting in the bubble behind closed doors, he's fighting for the British title. He wins that, he gets a dream shot against Kanzu in the back garden at Fight Camp, wins that, and then of course who can forget the Michael Conlan fight in Nottingham, one of the greatest nights in British boxing history, when he stopped Michael Conlan to win that fight in Fight of the Year. Suffers defeat against Maurizio Lara, comes back and beats Maurizio Lara. The run that Leigh Wood has been on has been incredible. And although they got here in very different fashions, one thing is for sure, two of the very best featherweights in the world and two British fighters that I believe will go down in the history of the sport. Now, they fight each other. And it's such a great fight. We know that we wanted to deliver the City Ground for Leigh Wood. October, not possible. He made sure I'm obligated to do that if he wins this fight. But what we do know is Sheffield Arena, split in two, passionate Leeds fan base, passionate Nottingham fan base as well. It's going to be an unbelievable night on October 7th. Tickets go on sale on Fight Pass on Thursday and general sale on Friday. Josh Warrington, you know where to get your tickets, Josh Warrington fans and Leigh Wood fans. Auntie Sue's down there. She's got them all in the bag, about 5,000 ready to go tonight. Okay? There's only one place you can watch this fight, of course, live and exclusive on DAZN around the world as we lead into a tremendous schedule upcoming, particularly next week. Anthony Joshua fights Dillian White at the O2 Arena. Going to be a tremendous night. Got another major fight to be announced tomorrow and all of this week. Enough from me from now. I want to go to the teams, and this time the challenger, two-time world champion, looking to become a three-time world champion. His trainer Sean O'Hagan. Sean, welcome. Thanks for joining us in Leeds as well today. You've been through this process many times now, these press conferences, the media tours, but as you said earlier, a special fight. I guess it was always a dream of yours and Josh's to become world champion. Now you've got a chance to do it for a third time in what is a great fight for British boxing.
Yeah, third time, and I think fights like this don't come round very often. I think, as Eddie said there, you've got the two best featherweights in the world, live 50 miles apart. It had to happen, didn't it? It had to happen. And I think this fight is going to be one of the fights that goes down as one of the best that's ever happened in this country. I know that's a big statement, but genuinely two of the best featherweights in the world. They're both here and both ready to fight. And they've both had, they've gone down different paths, but those paths have come together, they've collided, and here we are, 7th of October.
It's been made out for Leigh being the puncher, but don't think that I'm going there to tickle.
I often ask this question at press conferences, and I always get pretty much the same reply all the time, which is, do you see yourself winning this fight inside the distance? And I hate the answer of, by any means necessary. But if you're truly honest, do you believe you can and will stop him on October 7th?
I already said it in a few interviews today. I'm very, very confident of winning the fight. And sometimes you can take your focus away from winning just by concentrating on going for the knockout and stuff like that. But the way that our styles gel, the way that we're looking to approach this fight, honestly, it's like a recurring dream. I don't see it going to the final bell. Josh Warrington early finish. That's all I see. And like I say, we're both going to give it us all in there. And listen, he's got a massive heart. I mean that fight against Michael Conlon, inspiring stuff, Rocky Balboa stuff. But I have to say, I put him down. I'm closing show.
Ben. Little bit of indication from Josh Warrington of basically what you would expect, which is a very aggressive Josh Warrington from the first bell, a guy that forces the fight very early. As you've said before in fights against people who are aggressive early, that can suit Leigh Wood, and also he can get involved early on. We saw him unbelievably get up from the early knockdown against Michael Conlon. One thing is he's very fit and he has the ability to recover, but expecting a fast start from Josh Warrington in this fight and a frantic pace that they'll fight at.
Yeah, I think the fight is going to catch fire. I've said time and time again, you might as well give these two fight of the year already. But I think that just because stylistically, I think that Josh mentioned it there. He's got crazy volume. He's huge volume puncher. But that comes with a risk. When someone can punch, to be in distance for that long as it takes to be throwing that amount of shots, you leave yourself at risk against someone that can do the damage that Leigh can do with a single shot. But I do think, but like you said, Leigh can sometimes get carried away and get involved himself at the wrong time. So as Josh was saying, both teams have come up with game plans. I do think that just no matter what, the fight is gonna gel. The fight is going to take off. I think it's going to be an absolute barnstormer. I think it's rare that you see, not rare, but I think often fighters can get overwhelmed by the crowd, the atmosphere, and the support and the magnitude of a fight like this. But it's rare that you get two fighters that I think actually thrive off it. And I think that both of these guys thrive off the atmosphere, thrive off of the crowd, thrive off of the support. And I can't see it being anything but an absolute barnstormer.
What's the key for Leigh Wood been? I mean, you've been a huge part of his success, but how do you go from being a fighter that, has obviously got talent, shown levels at British title level, to actually arguably the number one in the division? Some of that, I guess, is actually providing them with an opportunity, but the change in Leigh Wood that we've seen since he won the British title has been incredible.
Yeah, Leigh spoke about it earlier. I think it's just preparation. I know you mentioned earlier, I get a lot of credit and all the rest of it, but I mentioned this earlier as well about both of these two guys, where talent is great. There's so many talented fighters out there, but these two guys have got something special. Their character, the places that they're willing to go, the fact that they've bounced back from defeats before. I think that's the sort of stuff you was mentioning earlier, role models. These are the two type of guys that are role models for young fighters coming through, because, there's fighters that are naturally gifted, but I remember Billy Joe Saunders saying to me, in that period where he said Leigh struggled to get an opportunity. Before I even spoke of working with Leigh, I remember him mentioning to me that Leigh worked like he had a fight 2 weeks away for that 5 years, that whole period. And to be honest with you, nice for me. I'd love to sit and say it's all me and I did this and I did that. But the reality is, it's that. Leigh had the character and the discipline and determination to keep doing things like that and keep working away when there wasn't any light at the end of the tunnel. So then when his opportunity did come, he was able to capitalise on it, and that takes character. There's not a lot of fighters that will do that, and that's why both of these two guys, I mentioned it in the press conference earlier in Leeds, a lot of people would consider them overachievers, and that's a huge compliment because your character will take you to places that talent can't, and to be an overachiever means that you've got something special inside you, and that's what both of these fighters have got.
Leigh, firstly, we've got to mention earlier, happy birthday. 35th birthday for Leigh Wood today. Sorry to bring you back from training camp, etc., but unfortunately these are your obligations now that you're a superstar. A humble superstar, another great turnout from your city as well. These fights just keep on going, and I remember when you beat Michael Conlon, I turned around to you and I said, let's have an easy one, yeah? And I said to Ben Davison as well, look, let's have a nice easy fight. I said, you've beat Kanzu, you've beat Michael Conlon, let's have a nice little fight. And he went, look, to be honest with you, those easy little fights are as dangerous as the big ones. And I don't know if I can fight in the same way or get myself up for those small ones. I need to be an underdog, I need to be challenged. You ended up choosing Maurizio Lara. You were dominating.
To see how good I am, to keep testing myself. And that's why I picked Lara. Yeah, it went a bit peaked on the first fight, but that was because I got a bit greedy. I was in front of my own fans. It was packed to the rafters. I started to break him down. I started to work him. He was breathing heavy, and I thought, you know what, the knockouts here. And I hold my feet. And yeah, I got caught and I paid the price, but I learned from it. And I did the second time what I should have done the first time, and just box the stabs off and get the job done. And here we are again against Josh. He's a great fighter, like you said. I've been ringside for his last 3 fights. I've seen him get hit with some big shots, and I've seen him throw straight back from them shots, and he's got something that I've got. He's got a lot of heart, a lot of grit, a lot of determination, and that's what's going to make this fight an unbelievable fight for the fans.
You've been ringside, you've seen him take those shots, you saw him come back from a broken jaw against Kiko Martinez as well. Just great respect from you two, and I think it's great, but in the head-to-head earlier, just a passing comment from you, which was make sure your dad's got the towel ready to throw in quicker this time as well.
All I was saying was, but I need to talk to you about this as well. So the British title fight, I was actually just an opponent for Reece Moldwell, and he was going to build their Leeds thing, and I upset the apple cart a bit. But all I was saying is, if the opportunity comes up, Sean, if the opportunity comes up, we need to be a little bit faster with that towel, because the gas in here came in before your towel. Bless him. So I'm just saying, if the opportunity comes up, it's a little bit quicker, yeah?
Listen, it's Ben that's fast with that towel, not me. You all know that. Ben that puts that towel in early, not me.
Obviously, going...
Sorry about that, anyway. How is he anyway? He's doing one, isn't he, Reece? He's doing alright, isn't he? Reece,
he's doing all that.
he's gonna come back. I love to see that. Like, same with me, like, I got beat early on in my career. Devastating it was, but I've come back from that. That's want to be a bit of a role model for these fighters that get beat early and then come back, turn their career around, because a loss in boxing didn't have to be the end of the road. It used to be, like, a few years ago, kids get beat, they hang the gloves up, they're done, they're finished. If I can be a bit of a role model to them, to lead the way, to come back and back up a defeat, then, that's a good thing.
We talk a lot and we work a lot on boxing within the community and the importance of boxing and what it can do for young people's lives. Just a word on that from you, you and Josh, 2 great role models in that respect. A word on what boxing gave you, and obviously the opportunities it's given you to change your life and your family's life as well, but what it instilled on you at great clubs like the Phoenix ABC many years ago, still running in Nottingham. How passionate you are about this sport, and if there's parents watching, just to understand, because I think many feel like, oh, I'll just send my kid into boxing, I don't think that's right for them, and just what the sport has given you.
Yeah, so it's quite difficult for me to put into words what boxing does. I'm not very illiterate, I'm not a great talker, but boxing for me, especially at a young age, was everything. Literally, I used to get home from school, put my Barry Morales DVD on, watch it over and over again, and it gave me an alternative to a route I could have gone down. I'm not saying I'd have gone down a route and got in trouble, but it gave me direction, it gave me a dream, and
I got to a certain age and I was thinking, right, I love boxing so much, I'm so passionate, but I kind of had a sensible head and I thought, right, that's boxing. If I'm going to pick that route, I'm going to see it out to the end. No matter what I have to do, what I have to go through, I'm going to see it out. Or my other option was get a job, and I'd probably regret this decision for the rest of my life, and be better than thinking about boxing for the rest of my life. Or was go in the army, and for me it was a no-brainer because there's no option. I was always boxing. I was so passionate about it. But it gave me so many other things alongside that, like discipline, respect, fitness. I've got more out of boxing than I could even put into words. It's given me everything I've got even today, not just financially, but how I deal with things, confidence. The list goes on and on. So if there's anyone out there that's got kids or watching this and you're thinking about putting your kids into sport, boxing is probably one of the best things you can do. Take them to a gym, teach them about respect, talking to people with confidence. It takes a great deal for an individual to walk to a gym. I went on my own, but it takes, even if you take your kids to the gym, to walk through the doors of a boxing gym, which is just, people think from outside looking in, it's about fighting, but it's so much more than that. And to actually walk into a gym and start going on your own to a boxing gym, you'll just get confidence from it and learn all them other disciplines as well.
Life's about sliding door moments, and for you it was a case of you're probably on the verge of retirement, having to pack in boxing. The opportunities aren't coming, you're going to have to go and get a job, ultimately. Or something happens, you make something happen, and life changes forever. When you beat Kanzu, it was behind closed doors, you were a challenger, you were an opponent. You just were an opponent.
6 weeks notice as well.
6 weeks notice, made a few quid, nothing mega, but at the time it was a lot of money, but we picked you because you were a British fighter, thought you deserved the opportunity, and Kanzu was, arguably the #1 featherweight in the world at that moment. From there, all of a sudden, you're in a massive money fight, really, against Michael Condon. And then you win that fight, then you go again against Maurizio Lara. Then now you're an opponent, or the B side, effectively, against Lara. You go again, he misses weight, you cop a few extra quid as well. And now you go in with Josh Warrington again in another big payday. I don't want to talk about the financials, but the sliding door moment there where life could have looked very, very different from you. Having achieved what you've achieved now, but being in those places, you've got kind of this mentality of, I don't care what I've got now, I need to keep going. And it seems like it's just, you're doubling down on every opportunity. You have no fear of progression, you have no fear of defeat, you have no fear of it all ending, because you knew what life looked like before. And I think that makes you very dangerous.
Yeah, for sure. And, up until that last fight, that rehydration clause we put in that fight was more than I ever got paid for a fight, for the world title fight, or before that, which is quite surreal. And while we're on that subject, I just want to thank some of our sponsors as well, because there was that time when I wasn't fighting, I wasn't doing anything, and they was paying me, and they was keeping me afloat really, just helping me pay my phone bill, my travelling, helping me to train full time basically. One was Mark Flynn and Richard Monk over there. Thank you to you guys, because you believed in me before anyone even knew who I was, and that helped me get to where I am today. Financially, I never looked at boxing and thought, right, I want to do this to get rich. And some kids think, right, I want to box, I want to do this, I want to get rich, I want to get famous, but I never really thought of it, I want to get loads of money. I looked at boxing and I wanted to achieve, I wanted to be the best at this, best at that, best at this division, win this belt. So when the money came, it wasn't like, I want to go out and spend it and enjoy it. It's more about be sensible, sort my kids out, sort my family out, and secure myself. I've still got loads to achieve. I want to achieve my maximum. And people think, well, you've been world champion, but it's like, but I've done that. And that's not my maximum. I've got more. And time's ticking. Probably got a few more fights left. As I keep saying, a few more fights, but it's fight by fight. There's no way I'd hang my gloves up until I've achieved that City Ground fight. That's why I made you put it in the contract for after this fight. But look, after that, it's fight by fight. I've got to win this fight first. I'm not looking past Josh. Like I said, I've been at ringside at the last 3 fights. It's a great fight. It was very tough, but I'm just prepared to do whatever it takes. That's not just on fight night. That's in my life. That's
the discipline, that's the sacrifices, which I've been doing for the last 10 to 15, 20 years. Same again.
Let's talk about this fight, this atmosphere. You've been lucky enough to have just a couple of unbelievable atmospheres. I mean, last time was great at Manchester Arena, but the first Lara fight didn't end the way you wanted it to, but the atmosphere was incredible. And the Condon fight, where you almost had a similar segregation that you're going to have this time around. But this atmosphere will eclipse everything. The Sheffield Arena split into half Nottingham, half Leeds. It's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere, and one that you just absolutely adore being a part of these days.
Yeah, and also, like, when it's a full arena for just yourself, you know, you get a chance to go off here and there, but on the whole, they kind of die down a little bit. But when the fans are battling between the two sides, it's going to be special. It's going to be constant chants back and forth. The entrances are going to be special. I can't wait.
The fight itself, stylistically, a great fight. You love to fight, and often, you know, behind the scenes footage, you hear Ben screaming at you in the corner or screaming at you during the round. But can we expect anything but an explosive fight? Josh Warrington's going to come out a million miles an hour. We know that. And a little sparkle in his eye believes that he can take you out in this fight. I guess people look at the Conlon, you know, dropping you, and Maurizio Lara dropping you, two sharp punches, particularly Maurizio Lara. But even with a record of no, you know, depth in terms of knockouts, although everyone knows Josh Warrington can punch, and Carl Frampton talks about that as well, he believes he can end this fight inside the distance.
I know Josh can dig. I've been within arm's reach of him against the Kiko fight. I've seen him hurt Kiko, but he can't run at me reckless like that. He can't, because it'll be like a car crash. So he needs to think about what he's going to do. But look, I'm there ready. I can punch, I can fight, I can pick myself off the floor. There's not a lot I can't do it, to be honest. Been there and done it. Every fight I get more experience, more confidence. I continue to get better over my last 3 or 4 fights. Same again, coming off my career biggest win. And the thing this time that I've not had ever in my career is activity. You know, this is my 3rd fight in so many hundreds of days. But I hope Josh is his best. I think he's at his best. Everything's on the slide. I'm at my best. Say every time, no qualms either side. It's going to be a great fight.
And finally, same question that I asked to him, which was, I know it's win by any means necessary, but with Josh's style, his aggressive nature, you know, the way he always comes to fight, you see Leigh Wood winning this fight inside the distance?
Yeah, it's highly likely. I think, I'm not sure how many title fights I've had, but it's over 7 or 8. I've had 1 title fight go the distance, and that was my last one. Just to make sure I won. I boxed instruction, I boxed extremely carefully, and I wanted to get the knockout, I wanted to go through, but you know, there's too much on the line. So out of all them fights, I've been the distance once, so statistically you've got to say the knockout will come.
Well, thank you to Leigh Wood and Josh Warrington. A different kind of chat tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. 2 tremendous fighters, 2 great ambassadors for British boxing will put everything on the line in a tremendous fight. October 7th, Sheffield Arena, live and exclusive on DAZN around the world. Nottingham's Leigh Wood will defend his WBA Featherweight Championship against fellow 2-time world champion Josh Warrington. It's going to be a tremendous fight. As I said, Fight Pass tickets go on sale this Thursday, general sale on Friday. It's going to be a packed arena, an unbelievable atmosphere, and we can't wait for a great night for British boxing. Thank you so much for coming tonight. We're going to have a head-to-head up here, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you.